Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our JustNoMil. In today's episode, Dear MIL, the year is 2021, I am not solely responsible for household tasks. MIL is coaching niece to make hateful comments. My boyfriend yelled at my mom, red flag or no? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Dear MIL, the year is 2021, I am not solely responsible for household tasks. I make a nearly identical salary to your son, not that it matters. Please do not turn to me to offer to do my family's laundry when I'm staying at your house, your son is the family's laundress. Don't announce that you specifically bought no iron napkins, so I wouldn't have to iron them, your son would have that task 50% of the time. Don't tell me my daughter confused you with me because you were doing the dishes, your son does them most of the time since I handle all the cooking. If you have a question about what our kids need, or to announce what kind of poo my kid had, you can tell your son. They are his responsibility too. Sincerely, an exasperated DIL. Early in our marriage, MIL would make pronouncements about what husbands do and don't do. I am one of 6 kids, and my dad always helped. I thought she was old-fashioned and funny, so I mostly just laughed at her. But there is always a last time, right? The last time my JNMIL share her take on things, she said, "Trophy wife, you know that men don't really help with the children, right?" And my very specific response was, if I thought that was true, I'd never have had S*X with him, let alone married him. You up. People tell me how lucky I am that my husband is so involved, he's a stay-at-home dad, even, and I laugh and let them know that luck has nothing to do with it, that's standards. Exactly. I picked my husband because he actively does the same things I do. Took me 30 years to find one that did. Not all MILs are like this. And it's not always a tradition. My MIL is 74, and raised my husband as a single mom. She taught him how to cook when he was 9 to 10 years old, around 1992 or so. Her cousin said she was turning him gay. Her response, gay people have to eat too, and kept going. He's a good cook. AM gay man, can confirm we do indeed eat food. Smiley face. I would absolutely adore that woman. This drives me nuts about my MIL too. She's fixated on me being a SOM even though I make twice what my DH does, and she didn't care until I had her only biological grandchild. 100% no judgment on SOMs, but I like my job and have no plans to leave it, and have been super clear about this. She finally pushed me too far once, and I flat out told her if anyone quits to stay home it will be your son. We can't survive without my salary, but we can without his. Solidarity mama. Amazing. IDK how their brain operates out of logic. Why do they think only we need to raise the kids and do the work? It's a marriage, not a wham bam thank you ma'am, now hey race a kid, I'm a squid. No iron napkins? Who's out here ironing napkins? I don't even own an iron. We were given an iron as a wedding gift. I finally opened it at least a dozen years later, long after we divorced, so the kids could use it for perler beads. I don't even own napkins, lol. Who owns napkins when paper towels work just fine? And these definitely don't need ironing. I don't understand how this misogynist mindset is still being perpetuated. A friend of mine once called me on the verge of a breakdown, feeling like a failure of a wife because she was completely overwhelmed. Poor woman was working a full-time job, doing the shopping, cooking, cleaning, bills, yard work, house maintenance, pet care, social planning, everything. I asked what chores her husband did and got a list of excuses. He works full-time, so do you. He needs time to relax. So do you. He doesn't know how to cook. He can learn. He doesn't know what to shop for. Give him a list. He doesn't clean properly. Teach him. He doesn't know how to do laundry. YouTube. He doesn't like boring pet stuff. Walking, grooming, and vet visits are part of owning a pet. If he's only interested in the fun bits, then he shouldn't have pets. He doesn't know how to do the house maintenance stuff. Hire someone. What it ultimately boiled down to was that he was unwilling to do any of the things he considered women's work because his mother did all those things for him before, and it was unmanly. Oh, but he did mow the lawn and work on the cars because he actually enjoyed those. Sadly, she's still with this man and is completely miserable. This reminds me of a post I saw a few years ago where a man wrote, "When I'm home alone with my kids, I'm not babysitting them. I'm raising them." I know you said NAW, but I need to snark. You could ask your DH to shut her down by saying, "Well, Mom, I guess OP could quit her job and stay home all day ironing napkins. But then I'll have to get a second job. Which means I'll never have time to see you. I guess if you are okay only seeing me at Christmas, we could make it work. I mean, if you would rather a man work himself into an early grave than wash a dish or two." I love this. I'm 20 and my BF is 24. I was over his house alone together for the day, and we made dinner together. I mainly cooked, so he did the dishes. When his mother and niece and nephew came over, I offered them some food since I made a lot. His mother turned to me and asked very nasty if I cleaned up after I was done cooking for her son. Mind you, the children and BF are still eating what I cooked. She takes a single bite and spits it out in the trash can, then rinses out her mouth in the sink, making a big show of it. Apparently I'm already not living up to my wifely duties. If your BF doesn't stand up for you when she does this, run. Yikes. I would refuse to be alone with her. Ever. One year, my in-laws flew in from the UK, and my husband, who had flown back from Dallas the same day, had waited around the airport for several hours to greet them and drive them to our home. A couple of days later, she complained while I was ironing that I was obviously bad at it since his shirt was creased. She then offered to show me how to iron shirts properly. I declined and suggested she showed her son, as he had never complained about my ironing before. When she bragged that she had never brought up her 3 sons to do housework, I pointed out how much housekeeping her husband had done while he was both employed and after retirement, and their sons had subconsciously taken that in, and were in fact happy to help out in their homes. I mean, who brags they never taught life skills to their kids? That's a bizarre brag. MIL is coaching niece to make hateful comments. Luckily, we have been NC with MIL for the past few years. Unfortunately, she is currently in our country visiting SIL, and we were convinced to invite them over for a barbecue this past weekend. A bit of context: we recently sold our small city townhome and bought a lakefront property in my hometown. This was their first time visiting us here, and we were hoping for a nice peaceful visit. A few days before the visit, I started developing tinnitus and vertigo. With this in mind, husband called his sister to ask about rescheduling. QMIL with her guilt trips. Oh, if me doesn't want us to come over, we don't have to see you. Maybe it would be best for your marriage if I stayed out of your life forever. Ugh. I was angry, husband was angry, and he was prepared to tell them to just stay home. For whatever reason, I felt compelled to prove her wrong, and said they should just come on the planned day. In the past, DH has been very clear that any snarky comments at our house and MIL will immediately get booted out the door. I was still expecting some passive-aggressive veiled insults, but I wasn't prepared for her to speak through niece. The minute they walk through the door, niece, 7, says, "Wow, I would hate to have to pay to heat this place." We ignore her and I laugh a bit internally because clearly she was coached to say that. Our house is a 3-bed 2-bath bungalow. It's a little under 1,800 square feet. I love it, but it doesn't look big. It's the smallest house on the street by a long shot. Then it was I see you spent all of your money on the house and couldn't afford new furniture. Really? A 7-year-old said that. Then it was I'd hate to live here when that river floods. Husband told her it's actually a lake and the house is built well above the high water line. Finally we let them know that because of my illness we were going to order from a local barbecue place. Niece is sitting on MIL's lap. While I'm writing up the order I ask niece if she wants deep-fried mac and cheese. Her response was, "Wow, what kind of lazy person has to order food for a barbecue?" with a big sigh. So I said okay fine, I guess you don't want deep-fried mac and cheese. At that niece jumped up and ran over to me. She whispered that she wants it and MIL told her to say that. I told SIL about it later, and as usual she downplayed the whole thing and made excuses. Husband agrees that MIL failed this trial visit, so back to NC. Maybe this in front of everyone, 'cause there will be a next time. Niece, I know grouchy granny is telling you to say mean things to me, your uncle, and I know you are not a mean person. Grouchy granny is acting mean and spiteful, and using you to hurt other people. That is just plain wrong to use people like that. Uncle and I will get you back to your mom. You're so, Mom, here is your purse, actions have consequences, leave now. In your words, it is better you stay out of my and our life. Best hopes OP. SIL was sitting right there the whole time, so she heard the comments. She didn't hear niece say that MIL put her up to it, so I told her, and still no real reaction. She's not great either and really enables the behavior. Yes, this. Maybe it would be best for your marriage if I stayed out of your life forever. Why yes. Yes, it would. Thank you for making that perfectly clear. Or, speaking to MIL, took you this long to figure that out? Geez, people said you were dense, but I didn't expect you to be this dense. Do you have the kind of relationship with your niece that you can sit her down and explain to her that encouraging people to say mean things is a form of bullying and that she is allowed to refuse to say anything that makes her feel uncomfortable? That needs to be done regardless. I'd maybe send her a nice cheerful card. Thank you for visiting. I am so glad you found plenty of whole things to make a 7-year-old repeat to us, because you are too chicken shit to say them for yourself, and too spiteful to just keep to yourself. It really emphasized just how classy and individual you are. But most of all, thank you for reassuring us that we did the right thing in going no contact with you before. We now feel absolutely assured in resuming our previous habits. Good day and goodbye. When people show you who they are, believe them. MIL will never change or improve, and neither will SIL. MIL is a selfish asshat. SIL is an enabler who probably secretly enjoys seeing MIL's *T make others squirm. Especially you and her brother. If that were not true, she would put a stop to allowing JNMIL to use and abuse her child like that. In our defense, we didn't think she had changed. We thought that maybe she could behave for brief group events whenever she's visiting Canada. So that would be Christmas dinner every second year, and maybe once in the summer. It's just easier on everyone if we can be civil for these short and seldom interactions versus a strict no contact. Oh well, she blew it again. Your MIL and SIL are a class act, huh? That's really trashy. Phew, kicker. I also have a 7-year-old child/parrot. What a manipulative *TCH to weaponize a child like that. Glad she's out like the barbecue trash. Seriously, I'm so pissed. That poor bug. The SIL sucks a lot too for letting her mother manipulate her daughter. They deserve each other, and the 7-yo deserves mac and cheese. Maybe it would be best for your marriage if I stayed out of your life forever. Gee, that was so nice of you to offer. We will gladly take you up on it. I feel bad for the niece, you're doing what grandma told you to do, you're a kid, so it's funny. Hopefully, this will be a little lesson for her too. Don't make a threat where the person getting threatened will spend the next half hour doing backflips and cheering. Smiley face. My boyfriend yelled at my mom, red flag or no? So I am 20, I've just moved out of the house, I joined the military and I am in training now. I met my boyfriend about 6 months back, and we have been dating for 5 months. He is so thoughtful, and there is a ton of communication in our relationship, so I have not had to worry. My mom came over to my place one day while my boyfriend was there, and we all went out to eat and to walk around town. I start to get aggravated with my mom as she is making some generally nasty comments, like oh come on, Demi people aren't real, and she is telling me to be better, and at least a million other things that happened that day. My boyfriend pulls me aside and asks something along the lines of hey what your mom is saying is not cool, and I know it's not my business, but can I say anything to her regarding what she's saying? And I agree with his request. I honestly have never felt like I have a voice with my mom. So then we are driving back home, and she says something off-putting. She tells me hey your hair is messed up at the top, you should fix it. And I turn to my boyfriend and ask him to help me cause I can't see. He gets huffy and goes oh it's fine, and I'm disregarding what she's saying. Then she turns and goes hey, boyfriend, why are you being a liar? And he asks her to repeat herself, either out of disbelief, or because he didn't hear. And she goes I said, why are you being a liar all dragged out and pronounced? And he starts yelling like excuse me? No. I am not. And you have been extremely rude this entire time, so I'm going to ask that you apologize to your child. She has clearly been hurt multiple times today, and you just disregard everything. And she says well, I am sorry you feel that way. But you cannot tell me how to parent my kid. And he goes no. No. F***CKU. And then they are both interrupting each other yelling, and my mom gets on the phone with my dad, and is asking him what to do because this gentleman has been very rude and she is going to take him back to her daughter's house, and never speak with him again. I can provide more detail on situation and past, but all I know is I need help. Your BF protected you. With your permission. He's a keeper. Red flag is your mom. Not a red flag, maybe the F***CKU was a bit much, but your mom had it coming. Your mom is being verbally/emotionally abusive. Your BF recognized the abuse for what it is and stood up for you, even asking for your permission to do so first. Hello respect. I think you might be partially in the FOG fear, obligation, guilt, regarding your toxic mom. You can find help for that in the sidebar, of which I especially recommend reading the missing reasons. It's 100% time to lay down boundaries regarding how you let your parents treat you, because it not only hurts you, but it will also hurt any future spouse, and will make you a rather unhealthy partner. Your mom sounds like an abusive narc. BF is a keeper. Red flag, for your mother. Your BF is a darling. I am sorry you feel that way. That is a classic narcissist's way of regaining control after an apology is needed, to deflect blame and gaslight into confusion about why you dislike honesty they are providing. Your boyfriend is a good man. He didn't stomp boundaries, he knew that yours had been crossed and asked to be able to speak up. And when it came time, he showed up, which is a good thing. I'm parenting my child. You are a grown woman. In the military no less. You are her grown adult offspring. You are not a child and do not need to be parented anymore, especially in this way, steamrolling your appearance and your morals. Your mom is a JustNo, your boyfriend is a Justies. You're an adult, the time for your mom's toxic, terrible parenting is over. Your boyfriend is a keeper. Get some therapy and some boundaries in place. Your mothet. Keep this BF seriously. He asked permission first, and waited FOT your cue to speak up. Then he stood up for you. She doesn't need to parent you anymore. You are in the military, her role is over being the boss. He even started out by giving you some sage advice: disregard what she is saying. Why? Her opinion doesn't matter. In typical control freak fashion, she shot back by calling him a liar. She does not know what's best for you. The reason she wants NC with BF is she can't walk all over him. Once you are out of training, use the benefits to seek therapy and help yourself learn how healthy relationships and boundaries work. In the meantime, no mom meeting without BF present, for your mental health and well-being. If she disagrees, tell her sorry, that doesn't work for me, and stick to it. And when JNM protests, tell her sorry you feel that way. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.